which camera of these two types would be my suggestion to get yourself into filming your bike rides. Well, good morning everybody and welcome back to Cape Town. I'm getting bombarded with geese at the moment. I don't know, it's geese mating season or something. I was at a little meeting the other morning and I kept getting the same questions. So the guys wanted to know, should they have a normal action camera or should they do a 360? So what I wanted to do this morning was just run through what I thought would be the most sensible to make it as easy and straightforward for you as possible. So I'm going to run through just briefly my feelings on which cameras do what, and in the end I'll let you know which camera of these two types would be my suggestion to get yourself into filming your bike rides. To start things off, the two cameras that I've got that I'm going to talk about this morning is this one. This is the Osmo Action 4. I've had this one for about a year or so maybe. So that is that one, and we're going to put this one in the box of standard action camera. So this is Osmo Action 4. And the other one that I've got is this one, and this is the Insta360, the X3. So the older of the two, there's now an X4, but this is the X3. So this one will fit under the 360 camera. There are a few different brands that make variations of these two cameras. So I'm not necessarily talking about the brands, I'm talking about the style of camera. So that would be an action camera, a traditional action camera, and this would be a 360 camera. So I'm just going to run through each one of these and give you the ups and downs of both sides. The things that are really great about this one is it's very straightforward. This one has got touchscreens on the front and the back, so you can see what you are filming, so to speak. Also has a little magnetic base to it, so it's really easy to pop off. So I'll give you a little bit of an example. I've got a tripod here and I've got a magnetic mount on here. So if I wanted to swap it from being mounted on the bike to being mounted on a tripod, it would literally be unclip it and then clip it back on again. So that couldn't be simpler, quicker. These action cams are also made a little bit more hard wearing. It's a bit more rubbery, it can take a knock. This one I've dropped it on the peg of my bike and it's cracked the screen, but it's still going. In essence they're waterproof as well, not that that's something for us to worry about, but if it got wet or it was being rained on, then it's okay. A huge benefit of this particular style of camera is I can take the battery out and swap it, exchange it for a fresh one without even taking the camera off of its mount. That is a very nice little add-on. So this particular one, the things that I like about this one is I can see what I'm filming on the front or the back. It's very easy to change the battery. It's very easy to swap it between different type of mountings. So if you've got a few different mounts on your bike, and I must have 5 or 6 different places on this bike, all I need to do is unclip it, put it on its new mount wherever that happens to be, and then just carry on. It's dead easy. So that's my current favorite in the action cam box. Let's go and have a look at the 360 and see how that one looks. There are some really cool things about a 360 camera. The one thing is it's a hell of a lot of fun and it's relatively straightforward to get some very cool shots. There is, however, one consideration that you need to take into account if you want to use a 360, is there is another step required in the editing process in finding the shot from the 360 footage that you've got. So if you like editing, then it's a cool little added thing you can do. But if you're at the early stages of your motorbike filming journey, if you like, this can be a little bit of a fiddly, time-consuming exercise. So you've really got to decide, do you enjoy editing or do you not? I use both. I would say about 80% of my filming is done with a standard forward-facing camera, and then the other little piece, the leftover chunk, is 360 camera and drone combined. These 360 cameras are not as robust as the normal action cam. The lenses are a little bit more delicate. The newer versions have got little covers that you can put over the lens, so if you drop it on the floor, it scratches the cover that goes on top, not the lens. So that's a nice addition, because this one, without the covers on, if I was to drop it on the floor, my camera is ruined to a certain extent. So the upside with the 360 camera is you're getting a whole load of angles without needing to move the camera. The downside is there's another extra step in editing, and the camera is not as sturdy as a normal action cam. So I just want to give you an idea of what the editing process looks like. So we're going to take some footage from this camera from this morning's riding, and I'm going to put it in the editing suite, and you can see how we can manipulate all the footage, and then you can see what's involved in getting the footage from here into your video. Alright, I've loaded some footage into the 360 editing. Now I'm just going to show you how it works, a real simple edit. So the first things to take into account is we can scroll around wherever we like with our camera. We are also able to zoom in and out. So I have an awful lot of footage or screenshot options to work with. So I'm going to start the edit with this angle here. So to save this shot here, I go to keyframes, which is at the bottom, and I just add a keyframe. And what it's doing is telling the editing program, at this point along the timeline, can you please look at this view? And then if I carry on playing the video, it carries on with the camera pointing at that angle. But if I want to change the view and I want to look a little bit down the road, and maybe I want to zoom in or zoom out, I can then change the angle and then tell the camera, when you get to this point, please be pointing there. So from this first keyframe to the second one, the camera will slowly rotate from one to the other. So let's have a look. So when it gets to that point, it will stay pointing in that direction. But what I'd like to do is that when I get to the puddle here, I'm just going to go back to looking at myself, and maybe I can see myself concentrating. Let's zoom in a little bit. And I'd like it to add that point. And then while I ride through the puddle, I think here I'd actually like to look at the puddle. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in here, go a little bit further, and there's the puddle. And we're going to watch the puddle. There we go. And then once I've gone through, I want to have a look at the field off to the right. So let's have a look at some scenery and maybe the back end of the bike, something like that. There we go, one more. There's me concentrating a bit too much. Right, so let's save that keyframe. So we go back to the beginning and play the whole lot. So all the edit is doing is every time it gets to a keyframe, it slowly moves from one to the next, depending on where you've asked it to point. So it really is like having a cameraman in your pocket. When you get to the end, I'm just going to slide these to the end here, and what I'm going to do is I can now export this little clip. Here's my export button. Export it, choose where you want it to save, choose how big you want the file, and click export. Over here I can see how much is done. I'll get a little ping at the end. And there we go. So now it's saved in my file. And now I can use it in my normal edit. Simple as that. I cannot tell you how many times I've got home at the end of a day and I've forgotten something. The camera's settings were wrong, I didn't have the right bracket, or whatever the story is. It's happened, I cannot tell you how many times. So I've started making a checklist so that I don't forget anything. Well, at least I try to. So the checklist, here's my checklist. If in the comments below you stick the word checklist, I'll send you a link so that you can download my checklist. Put it in your tank bag, so when you're out riding, when you stop for coffee, you can just read through the list quickly. It saved the day so many times. So I've got something on my action cam which has been a game changer for me in making it easy to get multiple angles, but with a camera that is easy to do editing in. So let me just go and show you what I've got set up on that action cam. So one of the best little purchases that I've got for my filmmaking is this little piece in here. It's a 360 rotating mount for the action cam. Now we know that it's really easy to film and edit with this, but we lose the ability when it's mounted to change where it's looking, except I've got a solution. So this has been a game changer for me for filming. I can rotate the camera and it goes in little steps, and it means that I get a 360 option, if you like, but I get really easy editing afterwards. So in answer to the question at the very beginning, if you're getting into motorbike filming, which camera should you get? A normal action camera or a 360? My answer is going to be, I think you should get a normal standard action camera for its simplicity and ease of use, and then get yourself a swivel, and then you've got a little bit of the best of both worlds. So if you're just getting into filming your motorbike trips and you just want a few extra tips and tricks and easy to follow steps, then stick around, because I'm going to do a whole load of videos with all of the stuff that you'll need to think about and make it fun, lekker, easy. Okay, that's it for this one. I hope you found it mildly helpful. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers, ciao.